Hello, botany, botanical gardens, my memories of them. I'm just dropping names now. I just don't have time to say them all. As I look back, such fond memories come because I really haven't had wonderful days every time I visited any one of these. But I missed a few, and I want to mention them still. So let's see. Lisbon. Well, all right, at Lisbon, there's down by the part, it's not actually Lisbon itself, it's Belém, which is a city, it's practically the same city, a little bit east of it. There's a parterre in front of the Monasterio de Geronimo, uh, Jerome's monastery. That was the first time a parterre ever got my attention, which is a planting to walk around of low plants usually, and oh man, Portugal is just Portugal is like one big garden. I mentioned that before. That the climate there is just mild enough and moist enough in central and northern Portugal that it has such an amazing selection of plants that grow there anyway. So there is that parterre. There's also right by that monastery the entrance of a tropical garden, which I don't think many people actually know too much about it because they're busy seeing the tourist sites. But you go into that and you go into this open garden of tropical plants. I mean, Lisbon has a big history of its relationship with the tropics, with Brazil and all that. So let's see, I mentioned them. In Lisbon, up on top of one of the hills around it, there's a cathedral called, I think, the Cathedral of the Estrela, which means star. But right in front of that cathedral, there's a huge public garden, which I think is called Estrela too, which is, well, in my wandering, and when I traveled, I tended to wander through public parks, and there were so many. For example, waiting for one of my flights to Europe, my friend Adam, who worked with me so much here, he drove me down, and he and I wandered through about 5 small gardens from the entrance to the Smithsonian Castle building, the original Smithsonian building. That's the garden. But then we headed in the direction of the Capitol building, and we went through little tiny gardens after little tiny gardens. I think there were about 5. And finally, and one is right across the street from the Botanical Garden. I don't know the name of it, but it's small, but it's a serious botanical garden. I can't think of the name of it, but really nice, a public open right in an intersection. And then some more. All right, Portugal, Estrela, I mentioned that. When I went to visit Erica, she was a foreign exchange student in Brazil for 1 year. And when I went to visit her in Belo Horizonte, in Brazil, there she and I went to the zoo, which was okay. We had a better part of a week, I think. She was sick at the time, actually, but anyway, we were going easy, and we went down to the Parque Central, right in the middle of Belo Horizonte. There's a central park, and it was just great. It's not, it's a park. Maybe it doesn't belong among botanical gardens, but I wanted to mention it. I thought of the name of that garden, that Quinta, designed for teaching children. It's Quinta Pedagogica, and I'm still having trouble remembering the name of that city offhand. But that city where it is in Portugal, there's a huge park, garden, whatever, called Bom Jesus, Good Jesus, which is it's a water stairway coming down the side of a mountain with plantings all around it, largely celebrating water as it as it comes out by a chapel at the top down to the bottom, the Bom Jesus, and then there's a tramway, water operated elevator It takes you back up if you want to go that way. It's hydraulic. It's a water tank fills at the top, and it, well, I can't explain it, but it's just by filling and letting out water, it's able to function like an elevator. And there's another one very similar to this water stairway, very similar but smaller, called Lamego, Lamego, further south in Brazil. These are, I don't know if I'm going to get time to give you the links, but if you go to my channel, Frank's School, and you would type in Lamego, for example, there you would see, you could be wandering around with Shirley and me at that. And the same thing with Bom Jesus, B-O-M, Bon, B-O-N, B-O-M, I think, Bon. Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, Portugal. All right, what else? I mentioned the Parque Central. Rio de Janeiro, that botanical garden, Joyce and I were there. The palms, the royal palms that were there, unbelievable. Let's see. And in Salvador, that's in the state of Bahia. We were there overnight once, traveling up and down the coast as part of our work, and we went to a small botanical garden at Salvador. I wonder if Erica or if Joyce remembers that. There's a garden in Florence, a family garden, where it's similar in some ways to Tivoli. My wife and I were there. I can't think of the name of it. It seems to me it starts with B, but it was droughty at that time. It was very droughty, and so that garden wasn't looking at its very best. I think that's all I'm going to mention now. And it had been my intent with this video to actually do this part real briefly, and then tell you about a pinetum, which will bring us back here to the Camp Ranch campus of Frank School. But I'll have to do that on the next video. Bye for now.